And a very pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Eyes Lamel Family Field on the campus of Brevard College. The much-awaited season opener for the 2024 Brevard College Tornadoes football team has arrived. We're less than 30 minutes before kickoff, and what a matchup between the Brevard College Tornadoes and Hampden-Sydney, who faced off last year, a 31-17 Hampden-Sydney win up in Virginia. Well, the two teams square off again now in this 2024 season. And it'll be the first of 10 straight contests for the Tornadoes. Kind of an unusual start to the season where there was a bye week to start things off, and thus the September 14th start of the season. One of the very few teams in the country across all of football who are starting this late with their regular season. So a kind of a fascinating twist to the start of Brevard College football, but long anticipated. These student athletes have been working hard to prepare for this moment, and the time is now as warm-ups continue. The two teams will head back to the locker rooms for some final words of wisdom from the coaches, and then we'll get things started. The Tornadoes, under the direction of head coach Bill Kyatt. And Coach Kyatt, all-time leader at Brevard College in terms of wins, and looking for another successful season here at the helm of the Tornadoes. Beginning his 8th year leading the Brevard College Tornadoes, and not just the varsity team that you're seeing here, but also the Futures program under the direction of Coach Bill Kyatt and his staff. Futures program's already played 2 games, but today the varsity team will take the field for the first time. It should be exciting. Quarterback Ethan Beamish, graduate running back Chancellor Lee Parker, graduate wide receiver Zachary Orr, some of the familiar names on the offensive side. Defensive returners including Dylan James and James Wood. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup for the Tornadoes. On the offensive side, and the offensive line, some familiar faces there across the offensive line. At left tackle, Brody Lindsay. He's the 6'4", 315-pound junior. Left guard will be Bernard Wirtz. Now, Wirtz, if you weren't aware, has broken several weightlifting records for the Tornadoes, and he, along with Lindsay, makes a very stout left side of that offensive line. Jordan Lindsay, no relation to Brody, the graduate student, will be the starting center. At right guard, LaRoderick Rucker. At right tackle, Eli Ward. The starting tight end is Ian Castellanos. That's another graduate student. He hails from Miami, Florida. Blake Shepard is the fullback. Wide receivers, Cooper Hogan and Zachary Orr. You also see a lot of Reggie Taylor, Adam Douglas, George Ranny, Seth Marshall, Alex Bolton, and Jack Spots as well in that position. And Chancellor Lee Parker, what a season he had last year for the Tornadoes. He's back at that running back position in the starting spot. Tristan Wynn, we'll see quite a bit of him as well. And starting quarterback, just a sensational debut for the Tornadoes last year. Back for his second year in a Brevard College Tornado uniform, the junior Ethan Beamish wears number 4. So there's your starting offense. We'll now go to the starting defense for the Tornadoes. The 2 defensive ends, Hot Rod Fitton, an exciting graduate student, transferring in from Division I competition. We'll talk more about Hot Rod throughout the broadcast. Robert Dorsey at the other defensive end. Defensive tackles, Ernest Smith and Obadiah Grimes. The linebacking core, Adam Cheney, Mason Tanner, and Bailey Ramey back for his junior season. And the defensive backs, James Woods, Justice Redmond, Carter Rollerson, and Jamari McDaniel. We'll also see Dylan James and Jalen Brown quite a bit, and then Kentrell Holloway in that nickel position. Special teams, the kickers, Hugo Taylor, the punters, Samuel Vargas, Kickoff returners expect Jaden Deaton, who we'll also see at running back, Cooper Hogan. And then on the punt return side of things, expect a lot of Zachary Orr. Long snappers, Jamie Tinsley. The holder is Nick Akis. So there's your Tornadoes starters. Now let's take a look at Hampden-Sydney's offense. Starting quarterback for Hampden-Sydney's Carter Cito. He'll wear number 1. We'll keep a close eye on him, of course, throughout this contest. Terry Hicks and Fane Barton share the duties at running back. Austin Fernandez and Ethan Dowdy are the wide receivers. Tight end is Sutton Lasso. And then the offensive line, Dylan Huggins, Cash Topinka, Logan Cohn, Thomas Wilson, and William Stimmel. The wide receiver on the other side for Hampden-Sydney is Manning Lasso. Defensively for Hampden-Sydney, Jordan Williams and Wyatt Croson are the defensive ends. The nose tackle is Andrew Arthur Humphrey. Linebackers, Brendan Wallace, Robert Clark, and Max Pickren. We'll keep an eye also on the nickelback, Kyle Lafayette. He wears number 4. Cornerbacks, James Townsend and Parks Cromwell. And Seamus Duvall and Joseph Pierre, the safeties. Specialist for Hampden-Sydney, the kicker is Elijah Sweet. The punter, Camden Richardson. Long snapper, Jake Allen. Short snapper, so in other words, we'll see him on field goals and extra points, is Quentin Waddy. Kickoff returners, Joseph Gonzalez and Fane Barton. So those are your starting lineups, and that sets you up for this matchup. Now, we've been having rain throughout the morning. It's cleared up a bit currently, so currently no precipitation. Temperature in the upper 60s. But great conditions here for what should be an outstanding matchup between Brevard College and Hampden-Sydney to kick off the 2024 season of Brevard College Tornado football. So at this time, we were able to catch up with head coach Bill Kyatt just moments ago, and we're able to preview this matchup even further with the 8th-year head coach. So let's take a look at the conversation we had just recently with head coach Bill Kyatt. Moments away from the start of the season opener for the Brevard College Tornadoes versus Hampden-Sydney, joined by head coach Bill Kyatt. Coach, long-awaited season opener for the Tornadoes. Can you describe the mindset of the team heading into this matchup?
Well, we really want to come out with a daunting and relentless attack in all 3 phases of the game, but doing it under control. So in a first game, there's always going to be jitters regardless of how much you prepare. There's just something about opening night, in this case opening afternoon, where the heart rate's a little higher than it is in practice, and you can see if you can perform everything under control. So that's the first thing for us, and then of course our opponent has already played a game, so all of that sloppy play that you oftentimes see at the start of the season in the first game, where every other play a flag's going up in the air, we're trying to do everything we can to prevent that, to keep a nice smooth and fluid game.
And it certainly means a lot for the opener to happen in front of the home crowd on the friendly confines of Ives Lamel Family Field. I know that's important to the team and players.
Exactly, and they really feed off of the energy here. I mean, you can probably hear the drum line in the background, and we got music playing, and then the roar of the crowd. Just that energy gives them just that extra boost that they need, especially in clutch situations. Could it be a particular play on the line, a game on the line, a situation this big, and it really does a lot for our players to have that kind of support.
In terms of some X's and O's, Hampden-Sydney, could you identify a couple keys to victory for the Tornadoes against this Hampden-Sydney squad specifically?
Well, this is quite a formidable opponent. Very stout all the way across the board. I've been very impressed with the program. Even back to last year was the first time we encountered Hampden-Sydney, and I was quite impressed with the entire operation. So for us, we know that these guys will be coached the right way. They'll be doing all of the things with the proper technique, being in the proper location. So we can't allow us and our unforced errors to give them the opportunities for victory.
Very good, Coach. Best of luck today. Thanks for joining
appreciate
us.
It. Thanks.
So that was head coach Bill Kyatt previewing this matchup, the Tornadoes versus Hampden-Sydney. We're about 20 minutes away from the kickoff, as both teams have headed back to their locker rooms for some final conversations from their respective coaching staffs. And before you know it, we'll kick things off on the 2024 Brevard College Tornado football season. So stick with us. Tornadoes and Tigers coming up shortly. Back here at Islamel Family Field, approaching the 2024 season opener. Highly anticipated start to the 2024 season. Should be fascinating matchup between these two teams. Speaking to Coach Kyatt before the game, he mentioned the fact that Hampden-Sydney's already played a game. This is the season debut, of course, for the Tornadoes, and you can practice over and over again, but until you actually play that game, it's tough to really understand where your team is at, and limiting some of those first game jitters, first game mistakes, something that Hampden-Sydney had the chance to perhaps clean up a little bit after last week, will be the key for the Tornadoes. So, know the excitement is there and the adrenaline's pumping for these Brevard College Tornadoes, but got to complement that with discipline and smart play as well. As we continue to count down to this matchup, and now the Tornadoes take the field. Tornadoes have found their way onto the Islamel Family Field turf for the first time here in the 2024 season. And Hampden-Sydney making their way as well from the visitor locker room. Brevard College drumline. Is in the house. Brevard College cheerleaders ready for their 2024 debut as well. Great crowd on hand. Appreciate folks coming out here to Brevard College despite some rainy weather this morning. The crowd is here, and we are ready to rock and roll here for the 2024 edition of the Brevard College Tornadoes. And that'll bring us to the invocation, followed by the national anthem. Campus Minister Sherrod Kreisman, and then women's lacrosse student athlete and from the School of Music, Grace Vaught.
God, we stand in this space grateful that you have brought us here. We pray your blessings upon all those who stand here, all who play today, those who lead in this moment. Keep them safe and in your care, and allow them and us to live to the highest of sportsmanship. And as fans, bless us, bless this moment as we celebrate and watch the greatness that flows forth. Keep them safe and all of us in your care, and we are grateful. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem performed today by Grace Vaught from the Brevard College School of Music.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Grace Vaught with a beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, and also big thanks to Campus Minister Sherrod Kreisman for our invocation. We'll have the coin flip between the two teams. Captains for the Tornadoes, Bailey Ramey and Ethan Beamish. Ramey representing the defensive side, the linebacker. Beamish, the starting quarterback. 5 captains for Hampden-Sydney. Tornadoes in the blue jerseys, silver pants with blue stripes, silver numerals, silver lettering, silver helmets with the blue Tornado logo. Sort of a Detroit Lions look. Speaking of a team having a bit of a renaissance as of late. Meanwhile, Hampden-Sydney in the road white uniforms. The darkish red lettering and helmets. Some coin toss taking place as we speak. Brevard has won the toss. Oh, check that. Hampden-Sydney wins the toss, and Hampden-Sydney decides to receive. Okay, so correction once again, our apologies. Hampden-Sydney wins the toss, defers, and Brevard will start with the ball. So Brevard will receive the opening kickoff. Hampden-Sydney will receive to start the second half. So the Tornadoes kickoff return unit heads out onto the field. So the announcement was in one direction in terms of who was going to receive this kickoff. Now some confusion. And Ramey, one of the captains for the Tornadoes, out there to discuss things. You know, we got crossed up here, and it seems like both teams understood that differently themselves. So indeed, Hampden-Sydney will kick off. Brevard College's return team heads out onto the field. And Hampden-Sydney's return team goes to the sideline. Their kickoff team comes out. So we got all that straightened out, folks. Time to get things started here. Elijah Sweet will kick off. As deep as Jaden Deaton and Cooper Hogan for the Tornadoes. And the 2024 season is underway for the Tornadoes. It'll be Jaden Deaton making his Tornado debut with the return, and he takes it just past the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Tornadoes from the 21. And the first look at the Tornadoes offense, Ethan Beamish, big-time performer for the Tornadoes last year. Incredible field general, leadership abilities, high football IQ. And he will line up under center for the Tornadoes from the 21-yard line. Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield. Handoff to Lee Parker. Bounces off the first would-be tackler. Able to take on another Hampden-Sydney defender. And then finally gang tackled out of bounds for a gain of 2. So it'll be 2nd and 8 from the 23. Joseph Pierre, amongst a host of other Tigers, eventually drove Lee Parker out of bounds. Now Beamish with an empty backfield in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. A quick hitch there, able to make the play to Zachary Orr near the markers, just shy. That'll bring up a 3rd and 1. Nice quick hitter there to Zachary Orr. Another key part of this offense this year. What a career Orr has had. So the first 3rd down situation, it's 3rd and short for the Nados. Handoff to Lee Parker. And Lee Parker able to effectively get the first down. And solid 5-yard rush there. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 35. So Lee Parker with Beamish under center takes the pitch to his right. Nice driving block there by LaRodrick Rucker, leading the way for Lee Parker. Another nice gain there. We'll call it 7. So 2nd and 3 from the 42. So a nice helping of Lee Parker early on here.
Brings up 2nd and 3 for your Tornadoes.
So bring up 2nd and 3 from the 42. Lee Parker already 3 carries for 14 yards. Deep shot here from Beamish. And he's able to connect to Zachary Orr. Oh my, the deep shot up the right side of the field. Beamish to Orr. It's a 59-yard pass play. And a huge chunk play for the Tornadoes. The deep shot connecting Beamish to Orr. And just like that, 1st and goal from the 9. Big time deep strike there. Handoff to Lee Parker. Lee Parker barrels inside the 5, down at the 4. So it'll be 2nd and goal from there. Officially a 49-yard deep shot. So now 2nd and 4 from the 4. 2nd and goal, in fact. Here's Parker. Chancellor Lee Parker able to get in the end zone, and for the first time in 2024, a successful Tornado scoring drive as Brevard College takes the 6-0 lead. Hugo Taylor on for the extra point. Nick Akis, the holder. Jamie Tinsley, the long snapper. Big play. That deep shot to Zachary Orr. Kick is up. And good. So 7-0, Tornadoes on top. Big dosage of Chancellor Lee Parker on that drive. And then the deep shot, the big play, the 49-yard pass from Beamish to Orr, and then Chancellor Lee Parker able to rush for his first touchdown of the 2024 season, a 4-yard rush as he's able to find the end zone. Hugo Taylor with the extra point, and just like that, the Tornadoes up 7-0. A 7-play, 79-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Back here at Lamel Family Field, a 7-0 lead for the Tornadoes. A quick strike. For Brevard College. What a way to open the 2024 season. And kickoff there from Joshua Childs. And it'll be Gonzalez with the return for Hampden-Sydney. As he gets past the 30-yard line. And first look at the Tornadoes' defense here in 2024. Credit the special teams tackle to Bailey Ramey, one of 3 Ramey brothers on this roster. Have to think that's a major oddity across all of Brevard College athletics, but moreover across all of college athletics. 3 siblings on the same roster. Rush there from Terry Hicks, eventually brought down by James Woods. Gain of 6. So it'll be 2nd and 4. From the 40. Carter Cito with his first pass of the game, and it's a completion to Sutton Lasso. And a first down, and Hampden-Sydney playing a little bit of hurry up now from their own 46, 1st and 10, third play of the drive. Hicks in the backfield next to Cito. Austin Fernandez, one of the 3 wide receivers to his left. Rush to Hicks. And Hicks able to take a couple of Tornado tacklers with him. Eventually brought down by Mason Tanner. And hurrying up once again here on 2nd down. Cito able to connect there to Manning Lasso. And then there's a flag as there was some extracurricular along the Hampden-Sydney sideline. So we'll see what the flag's all about. As we'll continue to keep an eye. It looks like Hampden-Sydney, some tempo. So that's going to be Justice Redmond of the Tornadoes secondary with a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, and self-inflicted wound there as another 15 yards tagged on. As it'll be 1st and 10 from the 22 now. So a fresh set of downs for the Tigers. Rush to Hicks. And Hicks is able to get through that front 7 of the Tornadoes. Another first down. Hicks, a nice gain of about 13 yards there. And so that'll bring a 1st and goal situation for Hampden-Sydney from the 9. Another rush to Hicks. And that time the Tornadoes snuffed it out. Justice Redmond all over it. Great job by the Tornadoes defensively on that down. Justice Redmond, the graduate safety from Harmony, North Carolina, transfer from Mars Hill. So 2nd and goal now from the 12 after that tackle for loss. Cito continuing to keep the play alive. Incredible scrambling. He went about 30 yards to gain 3. And it'll be 3rd and goal from the 9. You could see that pursuit from Hot Rod Fitton. Fitton now checks out. Third and goal. Cito able to find a wide open receiver in the end zone. That's Austin Fernandez. Touchdown, Hampden-Sydney. Austin Fernandez was an easy target there for Cito. And just like that, the Tigers have answered that opening touchdown for the Tornadoes. Elijah Sweet will attempt the extra point. Holder is McRae Bell, and it is true. So 7-7 your score, 7:50 to play, first quarter. Season opener for Brevard College football. Back here at Lamel Family Field, your score, Tornadoes 7, Tigers 7. Carter Cito finding Austin Fernandez for the Hampden-Sydney touchdown. And it'll be Jaden Deaton once again. And great kickoff coverage from Hampden-Sydney. And the Tornadoes will start this drive inside their own 20. 18-yard line is where the drive will begin, and Ethan Beamish and his group will get started once again. We saw a bunch of Chancellor Lee Parker in that opening drive. We saw Ethan Beamish hit Zachary Orr with a deep shot. Deaton in the backfield, and Deaton able to drive forward for a gain of 4. Tackle there by Eddie Allen. So we've seen Deaton with a couple of kickoff returns, and now in the backfield here on this second drive of the contest, Jaden Deaton, the senior out of Tennessee Martin, product of that transfer portal, which is such a big part of college football these days, able to find an open receiver there, Beamish to Reggie Taylor, and you can see the speed of Taylor. Reggie Taylor, pound for pound, might be the fastest student athlete on the Brevard College campus. A sprinter on the track and field team.
First down.
And a big play there to give the Tornadoes another first down and really improve the field position. 1st and 10 from their own 44. Another deep shot from Beamish, looking for Orr once again. And unable to connect that time. First time around, they went down the right side, and Beamish was able to connect to Orr for 49 yards. This time going the other direction. Orr with 2 catches for 56 yards, including that long catch of 49. Reggie Taylor, the only other receiver to pull down a reception thus far. That was a 22-yarder for Taylor. So 2nd and 10 from the 44. Jaden Deaton in the backfield, and it's going to be a timeout for the Tornadoes. So Tornadoes will reset things. 6:29 to play, first quarter. Your score, Tornadoes 7, Tigers 7. So coming out of the timeout for the Tornadoes, 2nd and 10 from the 44. Beamish with an empty backfield. Cooper Hogan in motion. Shuffle pass there to Seth Marshall, and a big-time tackle there. Read that perfectly. Brendan Wallace. Also Andrew Arthur Humphrey right there on the scene. And that brings up a 3rd and 11. Ian Castellanos, tight end in motion on that left side. Beamish drops back to pass. Able to find Deaton in the flat. Deaton drives forward, able to get to midfield, but that's going to be shy of the first down. Joseph Pierre there defensively. And the Tornadoes look like they're going to go for it here, 4th and 4. So an early decision here for head coach Bill Kyatt and his staff, going for it on 4th down at the 50-yard line. Deaton in the backfield, Beamish under center. They may be trying to draw the Tigers offside here with a hard count. And they're going to take the delay of game penalty, I believe. Or a timeout. We'll see which direction that goes in. But regardless, it'll be the punt unit coming in. In fact, a delay of game penalty. So we're trying to get the Tigers to jump off sides with a hard count there. Tigers didn't bite, and thus 5-yard penalty. And that gives Samuel Vargas that much more room to operate here. Now, Samuel Vargas won this punting job, was really sensational during the preseason. First opportunity for Vargas. And inside the 20, so Vargas gets the job done. And starting field position for Hampden-Sydney will be from their own 18. But Hampden-Sydney able to get the stop defensively. Will come back out on the offensive end. 7-7 your score, 4:41 to play, first quarter. So 1st and 10 from the 18. Cito, who orchestrated a nice opening drive for the Tigers. Play action pass, able to find a wide open Manning Lasso, and Lasso able to gain a bunch of yards after the catch, eventually taken out of bounds by Justice Redmond. And a big gainer there for Hampden-Sydney. That's Lasso's second catch. Meanwhile, Carter Cito is 4 for 4. 1st and 10 from the 41. Cito, a keeper, and he's able to earn the first down. Nice 11-yard run. So Cito getting it done with both his arm and his legs. Carter Rawlerson with the tackle. And across midfield, just took him 2 plays after being pinned inside the 20. Play action pass. Cito. And a beautiful pass and catch there. Able to get his feet in bounds was Ethan Dowdy. Really a thing of beauty between Cito and Dowdy. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 23 for the Tigers, moving very quickly. Lasso in motion. Hicks in the backfield. Handoff to Hicks. He's able to find a big gap along that right side. And then brought down at the 17. So gain of 6. 2nd and 4. Play action to Hicks. Cito. That's his first incompletion, was trying to find Ethan Dowdy. So Cito started this contest 5 for 5. Unable to connect that time with Dowdy. Good coverage by the Tornadoes secondary. And 3rd down situation here. 3rd and 4. Cito was looking for Fernandez. On the coverage for the Tornadoes was McDaniel. And that's a big stop for the Tornadoes to hold Hampden-Sydney to a field goal attempt after Hampden-Sydney was moving down the field pretty rapidly. Back-to-back incompletions after a 5 for 5 start for Cito. And now a field goal attempt. It'll be 34 yards for Elijah Sweet. A timeout for the Tornadoes. So 7-7 your score, 2:42 your time here in the first quarter. Tornadoes already have burnt 2 timeouts here in this opening half. They have 1. Tigers still have all 3 of theirs. 7-7 your score at Islamel Family Field. So the timeout gave Hampden-Sydney a moment to think about things, and they've decided to bring out their offense, now going for it on 4th down. A whistle just as Hampden-Sydney was snapping the ball. And just resetting things. So Hampden-Sydney's going to go for it here on 4th down. 4th and 4, so they reconsidered things after what looked like a field goal attempt was coming. Tornadoes called timeout. Hampden-Sydney brings their offensive unit back onto the field. A big fourth down here. Cito able to find a open Hicks, and right near the marker, tackle made by James Woods. Big time play there in the open field, and it's going to be just enough for a first down. Cito found the open Hicks. Woods did everything he could to get there as quickly as he could. But it'll be first and goal, so the decision pays off for Hampden-Sydney. The entire Tornado defense seemed to bite on that play action, and Cito made them pay. Sutton Lasso with the catch. And the Tigers now ahead 13-7. Oh my, where the Tornadoes thought they had held HSC to a field goal attempt. They convert a fourth down, find the end zone, and just like that, the Tigers now ahead 13-7. Make it 14-7 after the extra point. So your score, with 2:02 to play in the first quarter, Tigers 14, Tornadoes 7. Back here at Islamel Family Field, 2:02 to play in the first quarter. Tigers 14, Tornadoes 7. Tornadoes had a opening touchdown drive, but the Tigers have answered with 14 unanswered points to take the 14-7 lead. Kickoff here from Elijah Sweet. Once again to Deaton. This will be his third kickoff return of the afternoon. Deaton able to find an opening and eventually brought down at the 27-yard line. Tornadoes offense will get going there, 1st and 10. So we mentioned that opening touchdown drive for the Tornadoes, 7 plays, 79 yards. And then the Tornadoes went 27 yards in 5 plays. And that second drive ended in a punt. Now drive number 3 for the Nados. Beamish able to find Zachary Orr for a completion there. Ball will be spotted on the 33-yard line. So 2nd and 4. Third catch for Zachary Orr on the afternoon. Beamish back to pass. Able to elude the pass rushers and rush for the first down. Heady play there for Beamish. A classic slide by the quarterback, Beamish, to avoid any sort of hard hit. And another first down for the Tornadoes. 1st and 10 from their own 41. Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield. George Rennie in motion to his left. Chancellor Lee Parker able to break several tackles, now taking on even more Tigers, and Lee Parker driving forward for 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6, a hard-fought rush there for Chancellor Lee Parker. Chancellor Lee Parker, the graduate student, just like Deaton, transfer. Chancellor Lee Parker out of Mars Hill. And that'll be the last play of the first quarter. So Tigers with a 14-7 lead, but the Tornadoes moving the ball offensively on this current drive. We'll head to the second quarter with your score. Hampden-Sydney 14, Brevard 7.
Every cheer, for every play, we know there's a little prayer that no one gets hurt. That's why we are there too. Party athletic trainers, physicians, and specialists. We're watching closely for any sign that someone needs care. And if your child is hurt, they're seen right away by the region's top specialists. The Party Sports Medicine team is at every game, match, race, practice, and workout, providing medical attention and guidance. For us, winning is all about playing healthy and smart so you can perform at your best.
So first play of the second quarter, incomplete pass, and that'll bring up a third down. Just the second incompletion for Ethan Beamish. Started this contest 6 of 7. His primary target, no surprise, Zachary Orr, 3 catches for 62 yards. And Tornadoes facing a third down. Tornadoes 1 of 2 on third down thus far today. Beamish able to escape the pass rush and able to make the pass, a completion to Cooper Hogan. What a play by Ethan Beamish.
That's Brevard College, first down.
Pass rusher was there. Looked like it was Jordan Williams, number 99, and also some heavy pressure from Eddie Allen and others. They had Beamish just about brought down. It was a Houdini-type escape. And then able to find Cooper Hogan for the first down. Chancellor Lee Parker, big rush there for 4 yards. Seen a big dose of Lee Parker so far. That's his 7th carry, 31 yards. Joseph Pierre, the safety for the Tigers, able to make the tackle. Last season, Chancellor Lee Parker led the Tornadoes with 907 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns. Beamish able to find the open George Rennie. So first catch of the 2024 season for George Rennie. What a story Rennie is. Began on the junior varsity team, also known as the Futures program. Earned his way onto the varsity team last season. Ended up being named a USA South Conference Rookie of the Week. And able to make the play there. Chancellor Lee Parker able to bounce off a couple of defenders, then eventually brought down by Townsend and Pierre. So those two players coming up from the secondary. We've called Pierre's name quite a bit, the senior safety from Mobile, Alabama. So 2nd and 11. Tornadoes offensive line from left to right, Brody Lindsay, Bernard Wirtz, Jordan Lindsay, the center, LaRoderick Rucker, and Eli Ward. Deaton back in the backfield next to Beamish. Pass play for the Tornadoes. Beamish looking upfield. And it's almost tough to tell who that was intended for because both Orr and Hogan were there. Hogan just missing the reception. So now 3rd and 11. Tornadoes hitting on 2/3 of their 3rd down conversions thus far. Seeing if they can get one here, but it's a tough downs to go situation. As the play clock down to 1, able to get the snap off is Beamish. And Beamish is going to be brought down with the quarterback sack. Brendan Wallace able to get through to that backfield. Senior from Virginia Beach, Virginia, Frank W. Cox High School. And first sack of the game pushes the Tornadoes out of field goal range as well, so that's significant. You know, Hugo Taylor, it's understood, can attempt field goals from as far as 50 yards out, but instead this will be Samuel Vargas with his 2nd punt of the game. Vargas. And it's down at the 20-yard line, so Vargas' first punt pinned him back to the 18. This one not quite as effective. Just outside the 20-yard line, and that's where Hampden-Sydney will start their next drive. Your score, Tigers 14, Tornadoes 7, 11:23 to play. 2nd quarter. First and 10 for Hampden-Sydney. Carter Cito will go back to action. Handoff here to Hicks. Hicks able to zigzag his way. A 13-yard gain for the first down. Some nifty running there from Terry Hicks. Terry Hicks, the sophomore out of Clayton, North Carolina. Quick hitter there to Sutton Lasso, and it's complete. Lasso able to get his hands under it. And a quick first down there, 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5 from the 39-yard line. Hampden-Sydney works quickly. Tornadoes, nice job reading that defensively. Robert Dorsey. Robert Dorsey with the tackle. Big part of this Tornado defense. That'll bring up 3rd down, 3rd and 4. Hampden-Sydney 1 of 2 on 3rd downs. From their own 40. And a timeout for Hampden-Sydney, so they're going to talk things over, draw up a play here on 3rd and 4 with 9:46 left to play. Timeout on the field. Tigers 14, Tornadoes 7.
Every cheer, for every play, we know there's a little prayer that no one gets hurt. That's why we are there too. Party athletic trainers, physicians, and specialists. We're watching closely for any sign that someone needs care. And if your child is hurt, they're seen right away by the region's top specialists. The Party Sports Medicine team is at every game, match, race, practice, and workout, providing medical attention and guidance. For us, winning is all about playing healthy and smart so you can perform at your best.
Rush here right up the middle. Coming out of the timeout, an interior rushing play. And the Tornadoes there defensively. Bailey Ramey. Big time play there from that linebacker position. That'll bring up 4th down. Now, the Tigers made the Tornadoes pay with a 4th down earlier. And they're going to go for it again in their own territory. So the risk reward that much higher. And it's a quick pooch punt by Cito. And oh my, what a thing of beauty. Down all the way at the 1. Cito with a brilliant pooch punt there, and they're going to pin the Tornadoes all the way back to the 1-yard line. So we were questioning the idea of going for it on 4th down that far back in field position, and Cito gets the punt off, and it's down to the 1-yard line. Beamish with Deaton in the backfield in the Tornadoes' own end zone. Handoff to Deaton. Able to get 1 yard, so. Little more breathing room there. So get this, Carter Cito's punt, 58 yards. That's a career punt for a lot of full-time punters. And the quarterback gets it done with a pooch punt. 58 yards and down on the 1. Oh, my. 2nd and 9 from the 2. Rush there by Deaton. Able to, again, give the Tornadoes more room to operate, but that'll bring up 3rd down. 3rd and 5. From the 6-yard line. Just under 8 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Tigers 14, Tornadoes 7. Deaton in the backfield to the right of Beamish. Beamish able to find Orr, and that's a 1st down for the Tornadoes. And then Orr able to break away from a couple of Tiger defenders, and Orr down the left sideline. Orr cuts to the middle, and then eventually brought down all the way to the 12-yard line. Zachary Orr, an incredible run after catch there. 82-yard pass and catch from all the way back at the Tornadoes' 6-yard line. An 82-yard pass and catch, or just incredible elusiveness, able to break a couple of tackles and then cut to the center of the field, and it all adds up to an 82-yard pass completion. Beamish to Orr. A sideline warning against the Tigers in the meantime. And completely flipping the script. You can't help but remember this drive started at the Tornadoes' 1-yard line after the punt from Dito. Quick play there. And able to make the catch, Deaton. So using Deaton's pass catching ability out of the backfield. So we're seeing these weapons of the Tornadoes, whether it's Zachary Orr, Chancellor Lee Parker, Deaton, of course, Beamish. At the quarterback position. Deaton to the left of Beamish this time. 2 receivers spread out to the right. Now Castellanos shifts from the right to the left side of the line in that tight end position. Trying to thread the needle there was Beamish, but then the flag And this may very well be pass interference against Hampden-Sydney. In fact, it is a pass interference. The ball will be spotted at the 2-yard line. Pass interference on Townsend. Now, it's worth noting the Tigers playing very clean game up to that point. Their first penalty of the contest with 6:26 to play in the second quarter. First and goal for the 2. Deaton trying to power his way forward. A sea of humanity right there along the goal line. So Tornado's going to get reset once again. Now second and goal. And it looks like a ball was loose there. There's also a flag in the end zone. Hampden-Sydney believes they have the ball. It is indeed a turnover. A fumble by the Tornadoes. There's also a flag in the end zone, so we'll hold on just a second, get all this sorted out. So it was a carry by Beamish. Ball was stripped out of his hands, recovered by Robert Clark, starting linebacker for Hampden-Sydney. They're still talking things over. Flag still sitting in the back of that end zone. And Hampden-Sydney, by all indications, so Hampden-Sydney's ball indeed on the fumble recovery by Clark. Then there was a personal foul after the play. Personal foul on Hampden-Sydney after the play will be half the distance. So we saw a drive start on the 1-yard line for the Tornadoes. Now the Tigers will start on their own 1-yard line. Tornadoes were able to drive 98 yards, but not able to punch it in, fumble the ball, and now Hampden-Sydney will start things off at their own 1. Rush here to just about the 10-yard line. Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Bailey Ramey able to bring down Hicks. Play action, Cito. And picked off by James Woods. Woods into the end zone. Pick 6, touchdown Tornadoes. So the Tornadoes able to get it done on the defensive end. Woods read that perfectly. And the interception return for the touchdown. Big time answer after a Tornadoes turnover in the form of that fumble. And then Woods with the takeaway on the interception. And now the party will begin on the Tornadoes sideline. the extra point is good as well. So 14-14 your score. Tornadoes able to find the equalizer on the James Wood interception return. Woods, the senior defensive back out of Lincolnton, North Carolina, Lincolnton High School, a Lewisburg transfer. And an electric play there. And just like that, we're all tied up once again, 14-14, 5:25 to play, second quarter. Back here at Ice Lamel Family Field, all tied up at 14. Joshua Childs, the kickoff specialist. And Gonzalez muffs the return, able to pick it up himself and actually make a decent return out of it all. Able to bring the ball up to the 36-yard line. Tackle by Chaney Thomas, sophomore out of Alabama. So Hampden-Sydney will regroup after turning the ball over on the Woods pick six. Woods on this near sideline, defending Manning Lasso one-on-one. Dylan James in the contest as well in that secondary for the Tornadoes. There's a flag on the play. And now another loose ball. Tornadoes indicating that they've recovered the football. Play may have been dead. May have heard a whistle. Saw a flag as well early on in this action. There's an injured player at the same time. That's Hicks of Hampden-Sydney. So a lot going on here. Hicks still on the ground. Now gets up on his own will. So it was a dead ball penalty, an offsides penalty will back up the Tornado defense 5 yards. So Hampden-Sydney will get a break there on what looked like a Tornadoes takeaway. Is going to be 1st and 5 for Hampden-Sydney. Number 99, Zion Wilson, has checked in for the Tornadoes, interior defensive lineman. Meanwhile, pass there complete to Fane Barton out of the backfield. Brought down by Bailey Ramey. Barton, freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia. And Barton again, this time with his legs, right around that first down marker. Looks like just shy. Or check that. Now they give the first down signal. And brought down in the backfield. Combination of Ramey and Chase Pfeiffer. So 2nd and long, rush here by Barton, and Barton's able to do it all himself. The 13th first down of this contest for Hampden-Sydney as they move across midfield into Tornadoes territory. Working quickly once again, the Tiger offense. Barton with the catch. Seeing a lot of Barton on this possession. Now, Hicks is who we saw that tailback position. Remember, he did leave the game after being shaken up a bit. We'll see if he, in fact, returns. So penalty against Brevard in a legal substitution. So a couple of these situations, pre-snap penalties that have benefited the Tiger offense. Second time they've had a 1st and 5 situation here on this possession. Cito in the shotgun position. Dowdy in motion. Cito will keep it himself. And about a yard shy of the first down marker. Bring up 2nd and 1. Tanner with the tackle. 2nd and 1. .243 to play. Opening half. Rush there by Barton. Trey Williams brought him down. Williams, the graduate student out of Loganville, Georgia, Archer High School. So 1st and 10 from the 29. And looks like that's going to be an offsides on Brevard College. So once again, self-inflicted wound, another 5 yards in favor of the Tigers, and another 1st and 5 situation. So the 3rd time we've seen this situation on this drive for the Tigers. As the clock will start back up at 2:10 and counting here in this 2nd quarter. Cito getting some final signals from his sideline, and now a timeout. So with 2 minutes to play, your score, Tigers 14, Tornadoes 14. So a new rule in college football this season, the 2-minute timeout being enforced there. A point of emphasis that they've told everybody across college football, don't call it a 2-minute warning. That's only in the NFL. It's a 2-minute timeout in college. So 1st and 5 from the 24. Cito, under heavy pressure, able to get away from the pass rush and make something out of nothing as he's driven out of bounds there. Hot Rod Fitton with the quick pursuit. So that'll bring up 2nd down and 8. Fane Barton continuing to work in the backfield alongside Cito. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Rush here to Barton, and he's able to find an opening. Trey Williams there defensively for the NATOs. And Williams hustles back to the sideline. Nice work from him. So big 3rd down opportunity for the Tornadoes defense to stop this drive right here. 80 seconds left to play before halftime. Cito back to pass. Heavy pressure and a sack for the Tornadoes defense. Hot Rod Fitton there. Also Hunter Davis. Big time play by the Tornadoes. Hunter Davis, Hot Rod Fitton, and the Tornadoes able to get the quarterback sack. That'll bring up 4th down. Decision time. That might have knocked them out of field goal range. This would be a 50-yard field goal from here on the 33-yard line. So we might see another pooch punch from Cito. He certainly has proved his merit there. Meanwhile, play clock runs down to 0. But just before the play clock expired, a timeout for the Tigers. And so they'll decide what they want to do here. 4th and 15 from the 33. Big time play by the Tornado defense. Hunter Davis, the junior linebacker from nearby Shelby, North Carolina, Burns High School, combining with the exciting Hot Rod Fitton, graduate student from Atlanta, Georgia, Booker T. Washington High School, Division I experience, both the University of South Carolina and East Tennessee State University, ETSU, and now a member of the Brevard College Tornadoes, 6'3", 250-pound edge rusher, who was a highly touted recruit out of the state of Georgia coming out of high school, and able to make things happen on that critical 3rd down. Hot Rod Fitton. So a field goal here. It's going to be from 50 yards for Sweet, with Bell holding. Jake Allen, check that, Quentin Waddy, the short snapper. Kick is up from 50 yards and no good. So Tornadoes able to get the stop. The key play there, the sack, the combination of Davis and Hot Rod Fitton really made that field goal that much more of a challenge for the Tigers. Field goal misses, and the Tornadoes will have 23.7 seconds left to play here in this first half to see if perhaps take a deep shot, or do you head into the halftime locker room with a 14-14 tie score. Beamish is going to drop back to pass, see what he can do here. And he was able to find an open wide receiver, Seth Marshall, in and out of the hands of Marshall. That'll bring up 2nd down. So 1 timeout for the Tornadoes. Some different personnel checking in. Hogan checking in, along with Joseph Kuehler. Kuehler had that tight end position, the sophomore from Virginia Beach. First Colonial High School. Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield. Beamish under center, and Tornadoes are going to get conservative here, but you never know. Chancellor Lee Parker has been known to bust some of these runs, but that'll likely be the last play of this first half. Clock stops to move the chains. And now the clock will run, and that'll do it for the first half. A 14-14 tie as these two teams head to the halftime locker rooms. We are expecting a competitive contest between these two squads. That's exactly what we've gotten so far. Your score at the half, Tigers 14, Tornadoes 14. Stick with us. Half number 2. Come up after these messages. Back here at Lamel Family Field, the first half of the season opening contest for Brevard College football. Your score at halftime, 14-14. Brevard outgained Hampden-Sydney 245 to 177 in total yards. 196 yards through the air compared to 100 for the Tigers. Tigers outrushing the Tornadoes 77 yards to 49 yards. Individually, the Tornadoes, Ethan Beamish at the quarterback position, 10 of 14 for 196. So much of that coming on that long, deep shot to Zachary Orr, an 82-yard pass and catch there. Orr with a mind-boggling 144 receiving yards in just the first half on 4 receptions. He's just 25 yards shy of a school single-game record for receiving yards. And we haven't even started the third quarter, so we'll keep an eye on that. Beamish's other targets include Jaden Deaton, 2 catches for 12 yards. Reggie Taylor had a catch for 22 yards, and Cooper Hogan had a 10-yard grab as well. Chancellor Lee Parker, the leading rusher for the Tornadoes, 9 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. Jaden Deaton, in his Tornado debut, 4 carries for 10 yards. Hampden-Sydney's offense, Carter Cito, 9 of 12, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has been sacked twice by the Tornadoes' defense. 100 yards passing for Cito, and Cito's also gotten it done with his legs, gaining 17 yards, net of just 3 rushing yards when you take away the 2 sacks. Terry Hicks, the leading rusher for Hampden-Sydney, we did see him shaken up at one point of that first half. Then that's when we saw much more Fane Barton. Hicks, 9 carries for 52 yards. Barton, 4 carries for 22 yards. Leading receiver for Hampden-Sydney, Manning Lasso, with 3 catches for 38 yards. Defensively, Bailey Ramey leading the way for the Tornadoes with 7 tackles. And also James Woods, 3 tackles, but a huge pick 6 that tied this game up at 14. And that was a wild chain of events. A pooch punt by Cito, nearly 60 yards, pinned the Tornadoes back at the 1. The Tornadoes drove 98 yards down the field, fumbled the football near the goal line, and Hampden-Sydney took back over. And on the start of the very next possession, a pick 6 to James Woods, and just like that, 14-14 your score. So we'll head to the second half. All tied up here at Lamel Family Field. A couple other games going on across the USA South. Greensboro playing a non-conference contest against a former USA South Conference opponent, Averett. Your score with 12:26 to play in the fourth quarter. Greensboro 20, Averett 20. And also Southern Virginia in non-conference action, taking on Bridgewater at Bridgewater. And Bridgewater putting a hurting on Southern Virginia early on, 21-0 in the first quarter. 5 minutes to play in the first in Bridgewater, Virginia. Look around Division I college football as well. Appreciate you sticking with us here at Lamel Family Field. Halftime here, 14-14 between Brevard and Hampden-Sydney. But love catching you up across the world of college football as well. A couple top 25 scores. Alabama 28, Wisconsin 10 up in Madison. Oklahoma State 35, Tulsa 0 in the third quarter. Also in the third quarter, down in Columbia, South Carolina 24, LSU 16. Fourth quarter, Michigan 21, Arkansas State 3. At halftime in Columbia, Missouri 17, Boston College 14. Later today, Oregon State, Ball State, Miami, Tulane, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Purdue. Ole Miss, Wake Forest, Georgia, Kentucky, amongst other matchups. Also in Tallahassee, Florida, the third quarter, Memphis 20, Florida State 9. Florida State trying to avoid an 0-3 start. NC State also in action across the ACC with a 20-17 lead over La Tech in the third quarter. So that catches you up around the world of college football. And we're just a few minutes away from getting things started here at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Appreciate everybody who made their way here to Eyes Lamel Family Field for this 2024 season opener. Another chance to see the Tornadoes in person next week when the Tornadoes take on Belhaven at 1 p.m. That's Saturday, September the 21st at 1 p.m. right here at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Then the Tornadoes will hit the road for matchups at Maryville and Southern Virginia. Then the big homecoming matchup versus Greensboro at 6 p.m. on October the 12th. October the 19th features a matchup versus LaGrange at 3:30. Then the remainder of the schedule at Huntington on October the 26th, home against Methodist, that's senior day on November the 2nd, and then road trips to NC Wesleyan and non-conference foe Kentucky Christian round out the schedule. So we'll see what kind of adjustments these two coaching staffs made at halftime. A compelling and very much evenly played first half of play. Between the Tornadoes and the Tigers. Hampden-Sydney will receive to start the second half. As Joshua Childs getting set to kick off. Kickoff here for the Tornadoes. And brought down at about the 25-yard line. Correction, Samuel Vargas, who earned that starting punter job, handling the kickoff. So Childs and Vargas have been platooning at that kickoff specialist position. Vargas with the boot that time. 1st and 10 from the 24. Cito able to find Manning Lasso. Quick hitter there. Gain of about 4 yards. Bring up 2nd and 6. Cito now 10 of 13 for 105 yards. Cito, intended receiver was Dowdy. Justice Redmond came in to make the play, and a flag flies. Kind of a ball hawking play there by Justice Redmond. It'll be ruled a pass interference, 15-yard penalty. So what looked like a stop on second down is going to be a costly penalty for the NATOs. NATO's now 6 penalties for 50 yards. Just 2 penalties for the Tigers. So, fresh set of downs for the Tigers. First and 10 from the 44. Rush here to Hicks. Hicks brought down as he leaps over James Woods. Down at the 47, second and short. Quick pass there, and a late flag as Carter Rollerson pulled down Manning Lasso. Might have been out of bounds, so might get a late hit on top of all this. You see one of the leaders of the Tornado defense, Robert Dorsey, just bewildered. Checking in now, Nicholas Schultes for the Tornadoes. Another 15-yard penalty, so 30 yards via penalty on this drive. And just like that, knocking on the red zone here are the Tigers. Rush there by Terry Hicks. So Hicks back in the contest. We thought he might have been shaken up a little earlier. Did get attended to, but back in that starting tailback position. Man, a big-time quarterback sack there for the Tornadoes. Hot Rod Fitton. Hot Rod. On that right edge.
Fans, let's hear it for your third down defense.
Oh, my. Another sack for Hot Rod Fitton. The third sack of the afternoon for the Tornado defense. Third and long. Incomplete. Tornadoes all over it defensively. Mason Tanner there on the coverage. And that's another big stop for the Tornadoes. And once again, the sack making a big difference in terms of the field position and perhaps the decision-making of Hampden-Sydney. Now, they tried a 50-yard field goal earlier in a similar situation. Now, this field goal would be from about 47. But instead, they're going to go for it on 4th and 19. Cito back to pass. Pass rush all over Cito. He's able to escape. Cito now looking for the end zone. It is up and caught. Touchdown. Oh, my goodness. What a play by Carter Cito. On 4th and 19. He's able to elude the pass rush and find Ethan Dowdy on 4th and 19. Oh, my. Cannot believe what we just witnessed there as the Tigers go ahead 20-14. Tornadoes were in such a position of strength after the Hot Rod Fitton sack. There was a penalty after the play, unnecessary roughness on Joseph Pierre of Hampden-Sydney. That'll be accounted for on the kickoff. Meanwhile, extra point here from Sweet. And the Tigers up now 21-14. So tough break for the Tornadoes. Tough drive altogether. 30 yards in penalties. and then give up a touchdown pass on 4th and 19. You got to credit the quarterback, Carter Cito, a 30-yard touchdown play on 4th and 19 to put the Tigers ahead 21-14. 12:47 left to play, third quarter. Back here at Islamel Family Field, Tigers strike first here in the second half, ahead 21-14. So the penalty, unnecessary roughness, will back up the Tigers. They'll have to kick off from their own 20. So big opportunity here for the Tornadoes. To come up with some good field position. It'll be Jaden Deaton from the 20 down at the 35, but because of the penalty, decent field position for the Tornadoes. Special teams tackle there by Mitch Latimus. Latimus, a freshman out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. So the Tornadoes offense will take the field for the first time here in the third quarter. Trailing 21-14. Beamish with Jadian Deaton to his left. Handoff to Deaton. Deaton able to find the opening there nicely. Found a couple of openings. And nice gainer there to the 38, so a gain of, check that, the 48, a gain of 12. Deaton with his longest rush in a Tornado uniform. Can liken Deaton to some old school running backs such as Eric Dickerson, that type who kind of reads the blocks, finds the openings, and then finds that spot. Flag flies in the backfield on the Deaton rush. Deaton trying to follow the lead of Bernard Wirtz. This might be a holding penalty. And it's going to send the Tornadoes back. The 8th penalty on the Tornadoes. 8 penalties for 75 yards. That one of the 10-yard variety. So that'll bring up a 1st and 20 from the 37. Down to 1 on the play clock. Beamish back to pass. He able to make the connection there for the short gain. George Rennie with the catch. Meanwhile, some additional personnel. Seth Marshall checking in. Deaton checks back in as well. Zachary Orr split to this near sideline. In motion, Seth Marshall. Beamish, deep shot. And it's going to be an interception for Hampden-Sydney, intended for Cooper Hogan. Kyle Lafayette with the interception. First interception of the game for Ethan Beamish. And we've got an injured player on the field. 10:59 to play. It'll be Tigers ball when we come back. 21-14, Hampden-Sydney leads Brevard.
Every cheer, for every play, we know there's a little prayer that no one gets hurt. That's why we are there too. Party athletic trainers, physicians, and specialists. We're watching closely for any sign that someone needs care. And if your child is hurt, they're seen right away by the region's top specialists. The Party Sports Medicine team is at every game, match, race, practice, and workout, providing medical attention and guidance. For us, winning is all about playing healthy and smart so you can perform at your best.
Cooper Hogan's helped off the field by the Brevard College training staff. And Hampden-Sydney will take over after the interception. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 11. Hicks in the backfield. Handoff to Hicks. Tornadoes defensive line all over it. May have even lost a half yard in the process. No gain. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Adam Cheney coming up from that linebacker position to finish off that play by the Tornado defense. Now Cito back to pass. And ball is tipped up, but incomplete. Trey Williams, defensive lineman, almost came up with a sensational interception. Kentrell Holloway made the initial play. Ball tipped up in the air. Trey Williams lays out, but just misses a spectacular interception. But it'll bring up a 3rd and 10, so Tornadoes defense holding stout. Cito back to pass. Pass rush. Ball is loose. Ball into the end zone. Looked like a couple of Tigers were there first. We'll see what the call is. But the Tornadoes defense wrecking havoc. And it's a safety. The Tornadoes with a safety. And add 2 points to the Tornadoes' ledger. Now 21-16. And big time play by the NATO defense. Robert Dorsey making the play. And the Tornadoes will receive the ball following the safety, able to get 2 points in the process. Big time stop there. 3 and out that results in a safety by the Tornadoes defense. Did not allow a single run or pass of positive yardage on that last possession by the Tigers. So we'll call the forced fumble by Robert Dorsey. Recovered by Hampden-Sydney in the end zone. A safety for the Tornadoes. And now the Tornadoes with Elijah Sweet kicking off from the Tigers' own 20 have a chance for good starting field position. Again, it's a dandy kickoff. Gets past Deaton. And the question is, did Deaton touch it? A Hampden-Sydney player lands on it deep in the end zone. It got through the hands of Deaton, let it go through the back of the end zone. The question is, did Deaton touch it? And at the same time, did Hampden-Sydney recover it? And despite that sort of scare across the Islamel family field, near capacity crowd, it will be a touchback for the Tornadoes. What a kick, meanwhile, by Sweet. Absolutely blasted that football from the 20, but it'll be 1st and 10 from the 25 for the Tornadoes. So deep breath, everybody. Let's get back to action here. 1st and 10 from the 25. Beamish under center. Chancellor Lee Parker in the backfield. Play action to Lee Parker. Beamish rolls to his right and able to find Zachary Orr for the catch. First catch of the second half for Orr. That'll move the chains, a first down. A gain of 14. So Orr now just 11 yards away from Bubba Craven's single game receiving yards record. Adam Douglas split out near sideline. In motion, Reggie Taylor. Quick hitter to Taylor, and you can see the speed of Reggie Taylor able to make that first Tiger defender, Townsend, number 3, miss.
Pushed out of bounds by number 3, James Townsend.
Solid gain of 7 yards, 2nd and 3
Brings up 2nd and
from the 46. Tornadoes trail by 5, 21-16, 9:09 to play, third quarter. Shuffle pass to Orr. Orr able to beat 2 defenders. And that should get Orr the single game receiving record here at Brevard College. We'll get you his official numbers in just a moment. That was his 6th catch of the contest. Another first down for the Tornadoes, moving the ball nicely here. So 1st and 10 from the Hampden-Sydney 40. Beamish back to pass. Beamish keeping the play alive and then able to find Reggie Taylor. Taylor to the 20. So the passing offense suddenly very effective for Brevard College. That's Taylor's 3rd catch on the day. By the way, Zachary Orr now 6 catches for 172 yards. That's a new Brevard College single game receiving yards record. So congratulations, Zachary Orr, one of the greats of Brevard College football. Bubba Craven previously held that record. Meanwhile, 1st and 10 from the 20. Beamish back to pass again. Tornadoes continue to air it out. Flag flies. And this will likely be against Hampden-Sydney. So Tornadoes really making things uncomfortable on that Tiger defense with this air attack. Beamish now 15 of 20 for 257 yards. .7:30 to play. Clock is stopped with the penalty flag. Season opener for Brevard College. USA South Conference play begins next week versus Belhaven. So it's a spot foul on the defensive penalty on Hampden-Sydney. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Tornadoes at the 7. Tornadoes have moved down the field very quickly. Rush here to Chancellor Lee Parker down at the 3. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 3. That interior of the offensive line, Bernard Wirtz, Jordan Lindsay, LaRoderick Rucker, paving the way on that last play for Chancellor Lee Parker. Second and goal from the 3. Parker with the touchdown. Chancellor Lee Parker. So using the pass to set up the run, and Chancellor Lee Parker with his second touchdown of the afternoon. And that puts the Tornadoes ahead 22-21. The safety certainly helped matters. And now an extra point from Hugo Taylor. Kick is up, and it's good. So Tornadoes now ahead 23-21 with 6:56 to play after the Chancellor Lee Parker touchdown. Third quarter here at Islamel Family Field. Tornadoes kickoff. Vargas with the kickoff. Joseph Gonzalez with the return, and gang tackled by the Tornadoes. A host of Tornadoes.
Tackled by a host of Tornadoes.
Brooks Ashford Jr. in the middle of all that action. So Tornadoes ahead 23-21. Tornadoes led this game 7-0 and lead again now 23-21, and another takedown by the Tornadoes defensively. Robert Dorsey with the big loss. Counted as another sack. Meanwhile, injured player on the field. Your score, Tornadoes 23, Tigers 21, 6:39 to play, third quarter.
Every cheer, for every play, we know there's a little prayer that no one gets hurt. That's why we are there too. Party athletic trainers, physicians, and specialists. We're watching closely for any sign that someone needs care. And if your child is hurt, they're seen right away by the region's top specialists. The Party Sports Medicine team is at every game, match, race, practice, and workout, providing medical attention and guidance. For us, winning is all about playing healthy and smart so you can perform at your best.
Nice round of applause for Mason Tanner as he's assisted off the field. Tornadoes athletic training staff under the direction of Michael Cabry. Nicole Harshbarger. As well, part of that training staff that keeps the Tornadoes healthy. Another big play by the Tornadoes defensively as Dowdy was taken down by Nicholas Schultes. And another 3rd and long, so very similar to the last possession. Backing up Hampden-Sydney, 3rd and long. This time 3rd and 14. And Hampden-Sydney's going to play it conservatively, rushing to Hicks. And that'll bring up a punting situation. Looks like there's a Hampden-Sydney player down. As punt return unit for the Tornadoes and punting unit for Hampden-Sydney taking the field. Injured player for Hampden-Sydney was number 60, Logan Cohn, starting center, but he's able to jog off the field on his own accord. Richardson with the punt for Hampden-Sydney. Fair catch by Zach Orr. And it'll be good field position for the Tornadoes in Hampden-Sydney territory. Now, there is a flag on the play. And also, Tornado player hobbling off. Robert Dorsey, who is making things very uncomfortable for Richardson, having to hurry that punt with that block punt attempt. Hobbled off the field. Dorsey having an absolute huge day on the defensive end. Dorsey getting in on a couple sacks, 7 tackles. But a costly penalty once again for the Tornadoes, backing them up. They had really good field position. That's their 9th penalty for 90 yards. And we still have 5:37 to play in the 3rd. Rush here by Deaton to his left. Brought down after a 4-yard gain. That left side of the offensive line, Wirtz and Brody Lindsay leading the way. Brody Lindsay, the junior from Hendersonville, just around the corner, East Henderson High School. 6'4", 315 pounds at that left tackle position. 2nd and 6 from the 44. Tornadoes lead 23-21. Beamish back to pass. Trying to find his trusty target, Zachary Orr, along the sidelines, and he does. Orr able to get his feet in there. Very nicely done. So Zachary Orr continuing to add to his totals. Already has set a school record. Rush here. And healthy carry there by Deaton. So it'll be 2nd and 4 after the 6-yard gain. Zachary Orr now, 7 catches, 181 yards. 2nd and 4 from the 41. Deaton in the backfield next to Beamish. Handoff to Deaton. Deaton using the stiff arm, then able to take on a couple of Hampden-Sydney defenders. He's actually going to go for a short loss. Hampden-Sydney had read that rushing play pretty well. Deaton checks out on 3rd and 6 as looks like an empty backfield. Check that. Deaton is still in the game. So Deaton next to Beamish. Beamish back to pass. Looking for Orr once again. And who else? Zachary Orr with the catch. Inside the 20. So just like that, Tornado's able to get into the red zone. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 19. Chancellor Lee Parker checks back in. Zachary Orr continuing to add to his totals. What a combination Beamish to Orr have been today. Rush here to Chancellor Lee Parker. Lee Parker pushing forward. Nice gain of 4 or 5 yards. Second down. And 5 for the Nados. Beamish under center. Lee Parker in the backfield. Lee Parker to his left and driven out of bounds. That'll be a first down all the way to the 5-yard line. So Lee Parker continuing to add to his totals. He's already scored 2 touchdowns today. 13 carries, 62 yards. Zachary Orr, by the way, has eclipsed the 200-yard mark. Now 8 catches for 205. So 1st and goal for the Nados. Chancellor Lee Parker right at the goal line, and that's touchdown number 3 for Chancellor Lee Parker. Chancellor Lee Parker has a knack for capping off these tornado drives. We've seen it throughout this game. Beamish and Orr in the air attack drive the Tornadoes down the field, and then Chancellor Lee Parker finishes off the equation. 3rd touchdown. Extra point is up and good by Hugo Taylor. And the Tornadoes stretch their lead to 8 points. Check that, 9 points after the extra point. 30-21. Your score, 1:16 to play, 3rd quarter, Eyes Lamel Family Field. Samuel Vargas will handle the kickoff for Brevard College. Brevard College up by 9. Largest lead of the day. And that kick's going to go out of bounds, so that'll certainly help the Tigers' cause with the field position. Rush here by Terry Hicks. Big hit there by Robert Dorsey. Good to see Robert Dorsey making that play after he looked a little nicked up after that block punt attempt. Big time day from Dorsey so far. Quick hitter there to Manning Lasso. Dylan James there defensively. As Dorsey steps off the field. Third and 1, 35 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Quick pass there, it'll be a first down for the Tigers as Lasso able to bring that catch in. Lasso's been active, 6 catches for the Tigers. A lot of them these quick hitters along the sideline. Cito. Intended pass to Sutton Lasso, the tight end, but big time play by James Woods to break it up. Count that as one of those PBUs. Pass breakup by James Woods, who already has an interception and a touchdown on a pick 6 to his credit. 30-21, Tornadoes on top. 2nd and 10 from the 46. Rush here to Hicks, and Tornadoes defensive line all over it on the final play of the third quarter. 99, Zion Wilson. Number 90, Hunter Davis. Big time play there on 2nd down. That'll bring up 3rd down when we come back to start the fourth quarter. Your score at the end of 3, Tornadoes 30, Tigers 21. So 3rd and 9, first play of the fourth quarter. Scoreboard had a little hiccup there momentarily. Now back to action. On a 3rd and long. Cito back to pass. Deep shot from Cito. And he's able to find Austin Fernandez. Oh, my. The over-the-top deep shot to Fernandez. Big-time answer for the Tigers. On a 3rd and 8. A 53-yard touchdown pass. Extra point attempt coming from Sweet here to try to cut the game to 2 points. Kick is up and good. So it's a 2-point ball game here at Islamel Family Field. Tornadoes leading 30-28, 14:52 to play, quarter number 4. Back here at Lamel Family Field, Tornadoes 30, Tigers 28. This was a 14-14 game at halftime. Tornadoes have outscored the Tigers 16-14 here in the second half. The difference, a safety. Deaton with the return after a couple of bounces there. And this is going to be tough starting field position for the Tornadoes as Ethan Beamish, quarterback for the Nados, getting his squad organized. BC 30, HSC 28, 14:45 to play in the fourth quarter. Tornadoes will start all the way back at their own 14. Rush here from Beamish, a keeper. A 6-yard gain for Beamish. So it'll be 2nd and 4, so heady play there by Beamish. And we mentioned it before, we saw it before, the baseball-style slide. Feet first, old school technique to make sure the quarterback's protected. Deaton up the middle for 2 yards. So that'll bring up 3rd and 3 from the 22. Significant play coming here. You know, Tornadoes looking to keep a drive going. Momentum seems to be on the side of Hampden-Sydney at the moment. Beamish right along the sideline. Catch is made, and that'll be a first down. Big time play there, Seth Marshall. Check that, George Rennie with the play. So really nice play on that near sideline to number 86, George Rennie. Gritting out the first down on 3rd and 3. Beamish, pump fake, now over the top. Looking for Adam Douglas. Cromwell there defensively, getting some help from his safety, Pierre. 2nd and 10 from the 26. Deaton in the backfield. Beamish under center. Rush from Deaton. Blake Shepard in that fullback position, leading the way. I'll bring up 3rd and 9, so conventional wisdom calls this a passing down. We'll see what the Tornadoes dial up. Beamish, back to pass. Flag on the play. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Jack Spots. And it'll be a holding penalty on the Tornadoes. It's declined after the incomplete pass, so that'll be 4th down, and Tornadoes punting unit heads onto the field. Long snapper Jamie Tinsley. And Samuel Vargas will put shoe to leather here for the Tornadoes from that punting position. And a 39-yard punt for Vargas. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 34 for Hampden-Sydney. 11:54 to play, fourth quarter. Tornadoes 30, Tigers 28. Back to action here at Lamel Family Field, a 2-point ball game. Rush here from Terry Hicks. Tornadoes there defensively. Zion Wilson making the tackle. Zion Wilson, the graduate defensive lineman out of Scottsburg, Virginia, Halifax County High School. Transfer from Ferrum College. And we've got an injured Tiger on the field. Timeout here, 11:39 to play, fourth quarter. Tornadoes 30, Tigers 28. So 2nd and 8 from the 36. Cito able to make the completion there. Carter Rollerson was there defensively. Sutton Lasso with the catch. Third and 3. Some heavy pressure there coming from Antonio King of the Nados. But Cito able to make the play to Lasso. Quick release from Cito. Cito maybe a little shaken up on the play. Just over 11 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Cito. Sidearms it in the direction of Lasso once again. Rollerson there defensively. Pass out of bounds. So 2nd and 10. From the 46. 10:51 to play here in the fourth. Some new personnel into the game defensively. See Holloway in that nickel position. Zion Wilson on the scene once again. Zion, where's number 99? Listed 6 foot, 315. Catches there on that far sideline by Lasso. James Woods was there defensively. That'll bring up another fourth down. Now, Hampden-Sydney has had big-time success on fourth down, including a touchdown. Two for 2 on fourth down conversions. Are they going to go for it again? It'll be a timeout by the Brevard College defense. So the Tornadoes now down to 2 timeouts here in this second half. And Hampden-Sydney will talk things over as well. 9:42 to play, fourth quarter. Brevard 30, Hampden-Sydney 28. Fourth and 5 from the 49. Coming out of the timeout, Carter Cito at that quarterback position for Hampden-Sydney. Drops back to pass. Heavy pressure from the Tornadoes, but a wide open receiver. And another big play on fourth down for Hampden-Sydney. The Tigers now 3 for 3 in fourth down situations. And that's included a couple of big plays, including a touchdown. And that time, Austin Fernandez with the big gainer. Flag flies. This may be a holding call on Hampden-Sydney. Tornadoes defense able to reset quickly after giving up that fourth down attempt. We'll get it all sorted out here. A face mask on the Tornadoes defense. Half the distance to the goal. Another penalty, costly one for the Tornadoes, especially in the red zone here. The 10th penalty for the Tornadoes in this season opener. So, first and goal for Hampden-Sydney. Hicks with the carry. Dylan James there defensively. Also Ernest Smith. Ernest Smith, the senior from Barnwell, South Carolina. Dylan James, the senior from Gainesville, Florida. 8:38 to play. Jumbo formation for Hampden-Sydney and a touchdown for Cito. Creative offense being shown there by Hampden-Sydney. Hampden-Sydney under the direction of head coach Vince Luvara. Luvara, a defensive guy who came over from one of the best programs in Division III, longtime defensive coordinator at Washington and Jefferson up in Pennsylvania. Now going for 2 here. Flag is down. Cito able to find the end zone for the 2-point conversion, but there is a flag. So still waiting for the official ruling. It's an illegal substitution on the Tornadoes. Penalty will be declined. The 2-point conversion stands. So 36-30. Tigers able to pull ahead now by 6 points. And back and forth we go. 14-14 was your score at halftime, and it's been pretty wild ever since. Hampden-Sydney going ahead 21-14, and then a safety by the Tornadoes cut it to 21-6. Tornadoes then took the lead 22-21, and then another touchdown, back-to-back touchdowns, in fact, by Chancellor Lee Parker, made it 29-21. But now 15 unanswered points by the Tigers have put Hampden-Sydney back ahead 36-30. 8:32 and counting. Reggie Taylor with the return. And Taylor able to take it out past the 20. Ball spotted at the 22. 1st and 10 for Ethan Beamish and the Tornado offense. Beamish 18 for 25 for 294 yards. Beamish really throwing the ball in heavy traffic there was Beamish. Intended for Adam Douglas, incomplete, 2nd and 10. Chancellor Lee Parker checking in. So different package for the Nados as Zachary Orr steps off. Spread out wide on the near side is Reggie Taylor. In motion, George Rennie. Beamish, back to pass. Beamish looking for Chancellor Lee Parker. Reggie Taylor was wide open for a moment there. There was pressure from the Tigers. And in and out of the hands of Lee Parker. That'll bring up 3rd and 10. Big pressure there by Jordan Williams and the Hampden-Sydney defense. 3rd and 10. Beamish drops back, heavy pressure, and that's a quarterback sack. Brendan Wallace takes down Beamish. And a 3 and out for the Tornado offense. Pair of incompletions, then a quarterback sack. Bring on the punting unit. Brendan Wallace, big time play there, the Virginia Beach, Virginia product. And Vargas, who's had a busy day today, both punts and kickoffs. And a 5-yard penalty against the Tornadoes, delay of game. $11 penalties, 101 yards. Some of them have been very costly, and this isn't going to help matters here because this sets up the Tigers for some considerable field position. Vargas backed up in his end zone. Big boot there. Nicely done by Vargas. Takes a nice bounce. Does bounce out of bounds. And it'll be Hampden-Sydney ball at the Brevard 47. 7:09 to play. Tigers 36, Tornadoes 30. Back to action here at Islamel Family Field. Just over 7 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Exciting opening game thus far. Tornadoes defense being asked to hold the Tigers here after a field position advantage for the Tigers. Bailey Ramey brings down Terry Hicks on that run, 8-yard gain. Hicks now 20 carries for 85 yards. 2nd and 2. Short gain there on the Hicks rush. Trey Williams and Robert Dorsey combining for that tackle. So 3rd and 3 from the 40. Hampden-Sydney 4 of 11 on third downs this afternoon. Cito back to pass, scrambles. And the sack by the Tornado defense. Ball is loose and picked up by a Hampden-Sydney offensive lineman. Cash Topinka rumbles and tumbles down for a first down. Ball was loose. Picked up by Cash Topinka, freshman offensive lineman, 6'2", 290 pounds out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And he gives the Hampden-Sydney Tigers a first down. Now a deep shot there. Hampden-Sydney trying to catch the Tornadoes defense off guard. Tornadoes had Cito wrapped up for all practical purposes. Play was over, and somehow that ball got loose and into the hands of the starting left guard, Chase Topinka, a freshman from Charlotte. 5:30 to play, fourth quarter. Rush here, big hole through the right side, and that's going to be a first down for Barton. Thomas Wilson, the right guard. So William Stimmel, the right tackle. Nice work there for the Tigers. Just over 5 minutes to play. Tornadoes trail by 6. Desperately need a stop here. First and 10 from the 18. Rush there. Gain of 6. Second and 4 from the 12. Clock continuing to tick. Rush here to Barton. Barton, second effort, touchdown, Tigers. Big time rush there for Fane Barton. So Barton with a touchdown to go along with Hicks's rushing touchdown. Cito with 4 passing touchdowns, 2 of which came to Fernandez. And the Tigers have stretched their lead to 12, pending another 2-point conversion attempt here. So 2-point conversion here for the Tigers, trying to go up by 14. And it's a successful one as Cito takes it himself. And 44-30 now your score. 17 unanswered points. Check that, 23 unanswered points. Tornadoes led 30-21 at one point. All 23 points in this scoring run by the Tigers have come here in this fourth quarter. Rush here on the kickoff return. Reggie Taylor is dragged down after a huge return. Joseph Pierre finally took him down. Big time kickoff return there from Reggie Taylor. Exactly what the doctor ordered from the Tornadoes' perspective, giving Brevard some life. Scoreless here in the fourth quarter, Brevard outscored 23-0 here in the fourth. But now with fortuitous field position and play clock running down, Tornadoes are going to have to use a timeout. So now just one timeout remaining for Brevard College. So as we mentioned, the Tornadoes led 30-21 after the Chancellor Lee Parker touchdown with 1:16 to play in the third. And it's been all Hampden-Sydney ever since. But still a two-score game with 4 minutes to play here. Good field position for the Tornadoes. Tornadoes will be back in action next week versus Belhaven in the USA South Conference opener. Beamish, back to pass. And able to avoid a quarterback sack, but it's no gain on the play. And clock is ticking now, 3:40 in counting. Jack Spots and Reggie Taylor checking in. Now 3:32 in counting. Now the Tornadoes huddling. So Tornadoes want to make sure they get this play right, of course. Beamish on the shotgun snap. And Zachary Orr was blanketed by multiple Tiger defenders. Pass is incomplete. A lot of time was chewed on that last set. 3:11 now to play in the fourth quarter. Third and 10 from the 34. Beamish. No flag on the play as Townsend was all over Orr. And that'll bring up fourth down. Tornadoes no choice but to go for it here, down 14 points with 3:05 to play. Reggie Taylor split out to the right. Zachary Orr split out to the left. 4th and 10. Beamish steps up in the pocket, and he'll be sacked. Wallace coming up big once again for the Tigers. And the Tornadoes will turn it over on downs. And Hampden-Sydney has come up just absolutely huge here in this fourth quarter. Tornadoes defense back onto the field. Tornadoes just one timeout remaining. Tigers with all three. There's also the 2-minute timeout. Don't call it a warning. Short gain there. Terry Hicks, who else? Hicks now, that was his 22nd carry of the day. Hicks and Barton, running game for Hampden-Sydney has been outstanding. Cito has made things happen quite a bit. He even had a remarkable pooch punt. So a administrative stoppage here to get things settled. .242 to play, but see if the officiating staff may make a clock adjustment of some type. So 12 more seconds in advantage of Hampden-Sydney, a reset of the game clock to 2:30. So still getting things sorted out. So 2nd and 7. As clock will stop at 2 minutes for the newly instituted 2-minute timeout in college football. So back in the day in the NFL, during the 2-minute warning, back on network television in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they would play a feature called the Alcoa Presents Fantastic Finish during that 2-minute warning. And they show a highlight of some remarkable comeback. Well, certainly that would be the case if the Tornadoes could somehow come back from 14 down with 2 minutes to play. Crazier things have happened, but get the feeling Hampden-Sydney is going to come away with the victory here after just a dominant fourth quarter, outscoring Brevard 23-0. We've seen brilliance from both quarterbacks. Ethan Beamish for the Tornadoes, 18 of 29 for 294. And Cito for Hampden-Sydney, 19 of 27, 4 touchdowns and an interception. Now, they've had to do so having to elude heavy pass rush on both cases. And Tornadoes defense have sacked Cito 6 times. Beamish was sacked 3 times in this one. Rush there, and a flag on the play. Quite a bit of grumbling from the crowd here at Islamel Family Field. Bitter taste in the mouth of a lot of the Tornado fans. Personal foul on Brevard, another 15-yard penalty. So this will certainly be a point of emphasis for the coaching staff heading into the Belhaven matchup. 12th penalty on the day. And some of them have just been absolute killers. Twelve penalties, 116 yards. Hampden-Sydney with that jumbo backfield again. And Hicks with the direct snap is going to cut and then make his way all the way to the end zone. A touchdown for Hampden-Sydney. So Hampden-Sydney continue to pouring it on here in the fourth quarter. Kick is up. And good. So 51-30. Hampden-Sydney has outscored the NATOs 30-0 here in this fourth quarter. A remarkable turn of events. Now, the good news for the Tornadoes, the conference schedule still ahead of Brevard. In fact, Brevard, one of the few college football programs in the entire country starting this late in the season, with the vast majority of their season still ahead of them. Belhaven next weekend, 1 o'clock right here at Islamel Family Field. The first of 8 straight conference games. Kickoff here for Sweet. Reggie Taylor from the 4. Taylor out to the 30 for a 26-yard kickoff return. New quarterback for the Tornadoes, Elijah Campbell. Wears number 17, the sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee. Strong, deep quarterback room here at Brevard College, which extends into the Futures program. Rushed there by Tristan Wynn. So seeing some of these other NATOs get some touches here. Wynn, a regular on the Tornadoes special teams, and see him in the backfield from time to time. But when you're playing behind Chancellor Lee Parker and Jadian Deaton, there's only so many footballs to go around. Flag on the play, dead ball whistle. This is Campbell's debut on the varsity level. So a runoff of 10 seconds in addition to the 5 yards for that Brevard penalty. Final 30 seconds here at Islamel Family Field. Another rush by Wynn. A Gatorade bath for the first career win for Vince Luvara, the new head coach of Hampden-Sydney, as time expires here at Islamel Family Field. Your final score, Tigers 51, Tornadoes 30. Stick with us. We'll have all the final stats and how this one all went down in the Brevard College season opener. Tornadoes fall 51-30 to Hampden-Sydney. Back here at Islamel Family Field, your final score, Hampden-Sydney 51, Brevard 30. This was a 30-21 ball game with Brevard ahead late in the third quarter. But then Hampden-Sydney scores 30 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to take the 51-30 victory. Hampden-Sydney with 28 first downs to 18 for the NATOs. Rushing yards in favor of the Tigers, 160-97. Brevard with 294 receiving yards, 255 for the Tigers.
Starting at 1 p.m. Next home game for Tornadoes next Saturday against Millhaven, right here at Islamel Family Field. And Brevard College, thanks for your support of Brevard College Athletics. Have a safe ride home, and God bless.
Total yards, Hampden-Sydney 415, Brevard 391. Penalties, a big story today. Brevard with 13 penalties for 121 yards. Hampden-Sydney very strong in that department, 4 penalties for 33 yards. Both teams similar on third down efficiency. Hampden-Sydney 5 of 12, Brevard 5 of 10. But another big difference maker, fourth down conversions. Hampden-Sydney 3 for 3, including a touchdown on 4th and 19. Individually, The Tornadoes, Ethan Beamish at the quarterback position, 18 for 29, no touchdowns, an interception, 294 yards. Elijah Campbell saw some duty at the very end, however, did not attempt a pass. Receiving, Zachary Orr broke the school single-game receiving yards record with 205 yards on 8 catches, including a long catch of 82 yards at the open of this contest. Reggie Taylor with 3 catches for 49 yards. George Rennie with 3 catches for 19 yards. Jaden Deaton, 2 catches for 12 yards. Also catches from Seth Marshall and Cooper Hogan. Deaton also made his debut as a rusher for the Tornadoes, 10 carries for 33 yards. Chancellor Lee Parker, 14 carries for 66 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tristan Wynn with a couple carries for 7 yards. Tornadoes with a fumble and an interception. And Hampden-Sydney had an interception and 2 fumbles, but just 1 was lost. Hampden-Sydney was sacked 6 times. And Tornadoes defense led by Bailey Ramey with 13 tackles. Robert Dorsey with 10 tackles. James Woods had 8 tackles, also a pick 6 touchdown on the interception. Hampden-Sydney offensively, Cito was outstanding, 19 of 27 for 255, 4 touchdowns and interception. Fernandez, his primary target, 3 catches for 99 yards. Also Lasso, 8 catches for 64 yards. Hicks on the ground, 24 carries for 130 and 2 touchdowns. And Barton, 7 carries for 49 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, Hampden-Sydney's Wallace, big day for him. 11 tackles, including 4 tackles for loss. So that'll do it for us here at Brevard College in the 2024 season opener. Glad you're able to join us. Tornadoes will be back in action next Saturday versus Belhaven in the USA South Conference opener. So big opportunity for the Tornadoes to regroup and bounce back next week when conference play begins, as Tornadoes fall to 0-1. Hampden-Sydney now 1-1 on the season. Big thanks to all those that helped behind the scenes here at Brevard College, the operations staff making the atmosphere here at Brevard College so special for these home football games. The drum line, the cheerleading squad, adding all sorts of energy. And the group that helped us up in the press box, big thanks to them as well. Our public address announcer, Ray Gill, Sports Information Director, Joseph Marvin. On the statistics, Drew Pond, and also Chris Guzman, Addie McAllister helping with the stats crew as well, also handling social media. Scott Bundy with his video work. Alex Spellman, our broadcast spotter this afternoon, and working the scoreboards, Coach Donald Hudson and Coach Brad Jones. Tori Robinson as well, our producer. Appreciate her help also. And appreciate you, NATO Nation, for tuning in to another edition of Brevard College Football, the season opener for the 2024 edition of the Tornadoes. We'll bring you all the home games all season long. We'll bring you all the home events of all the varsity sports here at Brevard College all season long. Best thing you can do is subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that little bell so you receive all the notifications when the Tornadoes go live. Well, that'll do it for those of us here at Eyes Lamel Family Field on the campus of Brevard College. Your final score for the final time, Hampden-Sydney 51, Brevard 30. Go Tornadoes!